In this video, I'm going to give you 6 top tips that will keep your readers speculating and guessing right up until the very end. So make sure to like the video, click subscribe if you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that notification bell, comment below with any other tips you have or the tips that you enjoyed the most. A murder mystery is like a game of Clue. You want to take your reader on a journey, and most importantly, you want to keep them guessing right until the very end. Every good murder mystery, from Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express to Paula Hawkins' The Girl on the Train, keeps readers on their toes right up until the climax. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to writing a murder mystery, and there are in fact subgenres of mystery for all different tastes. Christie's mystery novels fall into the subgenre of cozy or soft-boiled mystery, initially written in the interwar years and characterized by middle or upper-class likable detectives who fit into their community well. Meanwhile, The Girl on the Train, for instance, is a hard-boiled mystery, a genre often categorized by an outcast and a more working-class protagonist. So whichever subgenre you choose for your murder mystery, there are some staple guidelines to follow to make it easier for you to write a cracking story. The first tip for your successful murder mystery is to start at the end. So planning is integral when you're writing a murder mystery, more so than any other genre, because a mystery is all about discovering the truth. The best way to ensure a concrete storyline is to know your ending before you even start writing. So have a jumping off point, such as a man's body washes up on a beach with no ID is a great start, but without the ending in mind, the story may end up with a huge number of plot holes. The crime and murder mystery genre is such a saturated medium, so you need to ensure that you have a really solid plot that makes your story stand out from all the other books that are available for readers. And whilst it's true that every novel needs a plot, mysteries stand out from the crowd in that you need to know your plot inside out before you start writing, if you want any hope of producing something that's engaging and clever that really has kept people guessing the whole way through. So there are lots of resources to help you iron out your plot. There's an app called Millernote, for example, which is an amazing tool for this, to help you plot everything out visually, which I find much easier, so then I can make adjustments, refer back to things as I develop the story. I'd also recommend drawing out a basic plot timeline so you can see when everything is happening in your murder mystery, and that will just make it easier to stay on top of the events. The other thing I'd say in tip number 2 is to M. Night Shyamalan it up. You might think that twists are overrated. That's not true at all. We all love a great twist in a murder mystery. Sometimes we love several, but they have to be really well done and put together so that it shocks your readers. And what you ideally want is them turning back to say, what did I miss? How did I not see that surprise coming? A really good example of a fantastic plot twist is in Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense. The big twist, and hold on, spoiler alert, comes right at the end when we discover that the child psychologist investigating 9-year-old Cole's paranormal experiences has been dead the whole time. You know, Shyamalan's direction, or misdirection really, has the audience fooled the whole way through, which makes for an incredible ending that no one sees coming. And in Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl, there's another great example. It's a more modern twist. Think about how you can emulate that in your own writing. So consider a 2-part split, a point of view change, maybe a character isn't really who they appeared to be, perhaps an unreliable narrator. A big reveal is another way, and there are many ways you can do that big reveal. Your mystery can have many little mysteries, hidden within the overarching plot to keep readers on their toes. And then a red herring. So what is a red herring? Red herrings and twists go hand in hand, but to be specific, a red herring is described as a clue or piece of information which is or is intended to be misleading or distracting. A great term is a false flag. I prefer false flag. That works for me a little better. Ultimately, you want your reader to notice a clue and think, hey, I've solved it. But in reality, that clue was a false flag. Consider Arthur Conan Doyle's The Hound of the Baskervilles. The reader is led to believe that the butler is the culprit. And it's the way the author emphasizes his suspicious behavior throughout the story. But in reality, he's innocent the whole time. And then, of course, the reader realizes they've been wrong and they've been misled. And there's a fine line here that you need to consider. You don't want to take your reader so far into a false flag subplot that they become so invested in that, because then there won't be a sufficient payoff. So that's something to keep in mind. You want these false flags to be small clues that just lead the reader astray here and there, but you don't want them to completely take over the primary plot. And getting back to basics, start with a murder. This might sound really obvious, but what we're emphasizing here is to start with a hook. When you start with a murder, you start with a fantastic hook. And, when there is that conflict right from the start, it just hooks and pulls the reader in. There's no bigger conflict than a death at the start of a book. And you'll often hear mystery murders described as gripping or page turners, and that is what you want for your story. You want the reader to be unable to put the book down, and a lot of that is going to originate from the opening. Start off with a bang. You can take that literally. The reason I'm laughing is I really struggle to say the word figuratively. Figuratively. And for tip number 5, who is your Sherlock Holmes? Every murder mystery since Edgar Allan Poe has had some kind of lead detective. This will often come in the form of a troubled man, sometimes on the edge of retirement, sometimes he's just your average Scotland Yard consultant, but usually he's isolated from society in some way. And what that means is they'll see the world from a different perspective. They'll have this avant-garde behavior that will allow them to solve crime or mysteries in a way the general police force wouldn't be able to. And that stereotypical protagonist is slowly being moved over in modern murder mystery writing, paving the way for some new styles of detectives, perhaps the jilted woman as an example. So Cara Thomas and Katie Seiss and Sally Hepworth have all written mysteries solved by misunderstood women. And so the similarity here is they're pushed to the margins of normality, and that allows them to access, new ways of solving crime. So whether you're writing Sherlock Holmes or Anna Fox, consider what makes your protagonist able to solve this mystery when other people can't. And the most important thing is to have fun with it. So murder mysteries are meant to be fun. It should be a game, like Clue. You should enjoy writing it as well. You want them to be stylish, witty, they can break regular conventions. So have fun with it. And also I'd say cross over the genre with comedy, action, romance, whatever you would like. Plotting for Murder by Tamara Bauman is a great murder comedy with wit, mystery, and it combines all these elements for an incredible page turner. And then Robert Galbraith, author of The Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, for the romantics, they could glean some inspiration from Delia Owens' Where the Crawdads Sing. Write a murder mystery that suits you. A murder mystery can be what you make of it. So think about all the things that you like in your favorite murder mysteries, and that I'm sure will help you write a bestseller in no time. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have enjoyed these 6 tips to write an incredible murder mystery. Comment below with any other tips you may have, or comment below and let us know the tips you enjoyed the most. Do make sure to subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you in the next one.